How many times have you dreamt about booking that time off work and just going on that fishing trip? How many times have you put it off? I can tell you it's something I've done year after year. Well, after some pretty life-changing events happening to me over the last few years, I've put a stop to the dreaming and started prioritising the adventures, the epic tales, and the one that got away.
Yeah, I'm some of that, you man.
So, sit back, relax, and let me tell you the tale of my latest Cornish adventure.
What's up, boys? That'll do. That'll do, pig, that'll do.
Right, well, tent's up. We managed to get that sorted in record time. Currently setting up the sib in a little boat park that we're going to be parking in for the whole trip. And just outside the slipway, there's birds working right in front of us. Heaven. With the excitement at an all-time high and conditions looking good for a first blast out on the river, we wasted no time in getting our rods and tackle ready and setting sail. Ready?
Yeah, just put my heels on.
We're here, mate.
We're here. We're on the River Fal.
Let's go fishing. Right, well, we're a few hundred metres, if that, out of Mylor campsite, the slipway, and the birds that we saw earlier are still knocking around, still seem to be working. So we haven't set the pot yet, and that's first job. We're gonna have a dip at some feathers. First fish of the trip seems to have gone to Darren. We're just drifting the channel in the middle of the Fal.
Mackerel. Yeah, boy.
You found the mackerel? Get it in that tub, mate.
Oh no.
Oh,
I need
he's
to drop.
faffing around. Right, well, I had a bit of fun with the feathers and the jigs and the lures and stuff, and apart from one mackerel that Darren's managed to lose, we didn't find anything else. So we steamed up to pretty much the mouth, or the entrance to River Fal, to go set our pot. She sat right there below me with baited mackerel, and we are going to set it aside. We're in about 10 metres of water. We'll stick it down, probably check it tomorrow, give it a day or so, and maybe move it, because there is a place that I wanted to put it other side of the entrance. But the way the wind's blowing, I think it's going to be a little bit it's all right out here actually. It's not too bad considering we've got a bit of wind, but yeah. Anyway, let's get it overboard.
Shady pit up.
Stick it that side, I'll move this out of the way. Best of luck. Yeah, wet, did you?
Come here, peed myself.
Oh,
peed my pants.
Oh no. Alright, Darren's got a chance to redeem himself. Stop faffing, you're faffing again. Hey! Does he?
Not used to this football after.
He's got a fish on the boat, he's redeemed himself with a really lovely, good sized mackerel.
You boy.
Well done, mate.
And he's
And
on.
he's on. Fish number 1 officially landed on the Falmouth trip. No. Right, we both dropped the fish.
Oh,
I felt
no.
another. Well, to be fair, actually, I didn't have mine inside the boat. That was just unlucky.
Is that there you dropped it?
No, it was a bit further down.
I've seen it.
Huh?
No,
You
I
didn't see it. Diving?
See it.
Oh, you better swing over. In one side, out the other. It's illegal, that.
What is? Man holding her, yeah, but yeah.
Right, well, it's coming on to about 8:30. It's starting to get a little bit dark. It's still quite a little bit of light around. Longest day of the year was only a week or so ago. So there's still some light, but we are getting hungry. We didn't bring any food out on the boat with us and we're both starving. But we've had a good few hours just kind of getting our bearings. Obviously a new area to really come out boating and fish. Managed to set the pot. We've got a few mackerel to the boat, some fresh bait to the boat, which is always good. We're going to head ashore, not kill ourselves on the first day. I think we're going to head into Falmouth, aren't we, and grab a pizza.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Grab some food.
Do some nice and have a chilled evening, have a nice hot shower. Bit of a long drive today as well, early start as well.
Yeah, you did a lot of driving, didn't you, mate?
Yeah,
really
hard
struggled.
Hard work in that passenger seat.
Yeah.
But look at this. But what more can we ask for?
What a big, grey, dirty ship.
I like big grey dirty ships, do you?
Yeah, well, you know, says a lot about you, doesn't it?
This is grey, and it's dirty.
No, it's not big.
Film.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get some food. We'll see you back in a bit.
Top of the morning too.
Alright, well good morning and welcome to day 2 of the Falmouth trip. So yesterday was a really good day, but it was a bit of a reconnaissance day of course, just to kind of find our feet and get settled and get set up with the camp and the boat and everything. Managed to pick up of course a few fresh mackerel, which is always good. We've got plenty of frozen baits with us. But we've head out today, we've been up quite early, had a little walk around the marina and just a bit of a nice easy morning. It's about 9 AM by the time we're out on the water now. And we're just, Darren's right here now, just feathering for some more fresh mackerel on the way out to our mark. But today is going to be mostly about the gilts. We'll have a few huss baits out as well. We're going to head up into the estuary, up the River Fal. Today's the strongest forecast winds. So they're blowing, I think, gusting up to 25, 30 with winds around, I think, 15 to 20. So pretty stiff winds. It's going to right off really kind of only the reef outside of the River Fal. And we're going to tuck up into the estuary, have some shelter and hopefully have some good fishing. But we don't mind because gilts were definitely, and huss, were definitely on the cards for us. It's definitely want some big fish, big gilts, big huss is something we want to tick off. So it makes sense. And then later this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, the winds die off, especially Sunday, and that's when we'll go out offshore, do some wreck fishing. Yeah, see what we can find. Looking forward to it. That's the reason, like, because where I am, when I fish out of Christchurch, and you've got Christchurch Harbour, and you get a little bit, you know, like there's mullet and there's. So as you probably saw there, we just had a nice little chat and a catch up with Harry from the Fal Anglers. We've been meshing the last few weeks about hopefully getting out and meeting up on the river. Unfortunately, when the best of the weather is later this weekend, he's busy, but he's just anchored downriver from us, about, I don't know, a couple hundred metres down there. He is after the huss. We're after huss and gilts. So we've anchored a little bit upstream with a mark that was kindly provided to us by a guy called Tony that we met at the campsite yesterday. We're going to give it a go. So I'm going to focus the gilt fishing a little bit later on when the flood tide starts. We are on kind of middle of the ebb at the moment. Obviously we can still chance of a gilt though at this minute. But I'm going to put one gilt rig down, which is going to be a simple, I think what, 2.5 foot fluoro down to a chinook. I've got a few with size 1.0s and a few size 1s and peeler crab. Nice and simple, good old peeler crab. And then I'm going to put a nice big hook out for a huss. This is a, I don't know, 6.0 Aberdeen, I think, J-hook type style on 60 pound fluoro, and that's going to be going out with some bluey or big mackerel fillet. Some fresh mackerel that of course Darren caught for us yesterday. So that's the plan. We're on a mark. We're here in Cornwall on the River Fal. Let's make it happen. Right, so at the moment we've got some kind of difficult conditions to fish in, where wind is arguing with the tide and it's kind of facing us one way, lines going the other. So we've got that rod going out there, as you can see, that rod facing that way, our anchor rope's down that some way, and we're facing the complete wrong way. So I'm going to stick out my drogue, which basically will fill up with water. I'll put it off the back of the boat and it will help the boat face the way the tide's flowing, and the wind will kind of blow across us a little bit more, but it helps the tide kind of direct the boat direction, if that makes sense. So anyway, we'll stick it off the back and hopefully it will help us out. Okay, well that's the drogue set. You might see I've got a line, which for now I've just tied off at the bench. I should really tie it off at a little cleat or something properly, but I'll sort that out in a minute. But you might just be able to see it floating on the water there. It's a big bag. In fact, if I pull it, there you go, that big orange thing there. Basically acting like a parachute underwater. It's catching the tide. You can see it better now. Catching the tide, and it's making sure that our lines, the boat, everything is facing the same direction now, so it's a lot easier to fish like this. What do you reckon, Darren?
Yeah.
Great footage, cool. Alright, well we've been fishing now for probably a couple hours, and apart from a few bites that we've had on this mark, we've had no fish to the boat at all today. So I'm going to mix things up a little bit. We are kind of holding out for the flood tide, which is in another hour or two. Which is when we're hoping a lot of the fishing does pick up. But I'm going to switch to at the moment I've got a one hook kind of rig out on my light spinning rod, which is for the bream, with peeler crab. And I'm going to switch out to just a 2-hook flapper rig, which has little, I think these are size 1, size 2 chinook hooks. Put a bit of crab on one, and I have some black lug that was frozen and we brought with us on the other one. So worm normally scratches out something. Harry did mention to us earlier when he was fishing on this mark that we're now sat on, there was a little pouting down there and all sorts. So just to kind of get a fish on the boat and get some action going, I'm going to put some worm down and see if we can't scratch something out. Of course, you know, with the worm baits, it will still attract a gilt, and it will still attract pretty much anything down there. So we're still covering lots of different bases. Still no fish to the boat. It's been very quiet, and we've lost an anchor, unfortunately. We got snagged on our previous mark about 100 meters that way. We tried getting it free in every way you could do, but we had to cut it loose in the end. So we're currently tied up to this big buoy, as you can see behind us, and sat here just chilling. We're at the bottom of the tide now. The tide's just turning, and as it has done, we are here to fish the flood tide ideally, which is about to begin. And suddenly we saw 2 or 3 bass right on the surface just cruising past us, and then all these bait fish just jumped out of the water, little sandal I'm assuming, or something, and then the birds are now circling around us, picking off all sorts off the surface. So it seems to be livening up now, which is good. So we've got a few lures out, we're going to have a flick around them, but hopefully we can start getting into some fish now.
So, just been having a little rest there. I think James.
Come on. That was a bream though. That was definitely a bream. Right, well yeah, so me and Darren were just feet back, chilling, both napping actually on the boat. It's been a few hours out here of hard fishing and pulling anchors and moving around and finding new spots and all that kind of nonsense. But I looked up and my boat and my rod was hammering away, lifted gently into it, didn't strike at all, and I could feel definitely a bream on there. But as I was gently reeling it in, he's come off.
I'm getting bites.
You're getting bites as well, yeah. So I think waiting for this flood tide, seeing it out is starting to pay off, because I think we found the fish. Let's try and get one aboard.
Yeah.
Definite bites. I mean, bream are really finicky to hook up onto. Quite often they'll peck at the bait and before they commit, so it can pay to just let them do that. Let them play at it until you get a really positive strike, and they'll pick it up and go. But that's 2 rods that have gone off in the space of a minute.
The anticipation is killing me.
This is proper fishing now.
It's the subtlest of taps. Next time it doesn't.
Feeling beaten by the estuary, we decided to head back to camp to refuel and devise a new plan.
Jelly.
Yeah, it's a big jellyfish.
So, off on a little nighttime adventure. If you don't see us again, nothing happened.
We'd seen huge shoals of bass and mullet topping the surface around the marina, and after a difficult day out on the boat, they seemed too irresistible not to chuck a few lures up. First cast. First cast, mate.
Right here.
Yes, it's my first fish in the Falmouth trip. Oh, finally. I'm not blanking. He's a little bass. Yes, bass. I think these are all bass all here, popping up. There he goes. That was first cast, and then I could feel him hitting it, bang, 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 and I hooked him right here. Yeah, if you aim like dead centre here, actually pretty much where you are, and then like a really slow retrieve, and I started feeling them tapping at it. Now, I appreciate we are on Mylor slipway here, and you're not allowed to fish it, but apologies. But we've come down here and all the fish are right in front of the slipway, and it's dead of night, there's no one here. So we're being a bit cheeky. But, fine, not blanking on this trip. Get in, number 1. We saw the rest of the night out with the lures being flung into the marina with plenty of follows and a few more lost fish. A much needed morale boost to kick off the Falmouth campaign. Day 3 saw better conditions and a high optimism about finally ticking off some target species. So, after a quick trip to the Chowndhury for a new anchor, we got the boat set for a big day's fishing. Right, well, day 3 of the trip, but day 2 officially of fishing, I'm going to call it. Yesterday was a difficult day, but we've had a pretty slow morning. We've had some food, refueled the boat, everything's all set up and refreshed to go, as are we, although Darren's feeling a bit ropey. But I'm sure some fish will sort him out. Plan for today. This evening, or this afternoon, the winds are due to drop right off. So hopefully we're going to start getting out onto the reefs for the first time and do some of that pollocking and wrasse fishing and lure fishing that we really want to do. The morning, however, there's still a bit of wind. Not as strong as yesterday, but there's still going to be some gusts. So we're going to shelter in the harbour. I think what we're going to do is spend a couple hours fishing in the actual river itself, in the shelter, for huss and rays, some of the target species that we were hoping to pick up yesterday but didn't, before heading to a different gilt mark that we had penciled in before we actually came out here and fished the flood tide down one of the estuaries for gilts, for bream, that kind of stuff. We'll check the pot at some point today, I think, as well, and then fingers crossed, about 5 o'clock this afternoon, the wind should drop off quite nicely for us to head out offshore and do some lure fishing. But here we go, day 3. Right, so we've decided to anchor. There's a wreck right in front of Mylor, which we're going to just sit on this for a couple of hours. We do have wind against tide, so it's going to make for a bit of a difficult kind of anchoring setup. We might need to use the drogues to help us, because basically it's an ebbing tide for the next few hours, but the wind's coming into the bay, so wind against tide. But what we're going to do is use the drogue, go up tide of the, or I should say down tide of the wreck, sit behind it, because our lines will kind of then go off the side of the boat, and use the drogue to try and position the boat well. Sounds a bit complicated, it is, and most of the time I get it wrong, because it can be difficult to get everything lining up, but we'll try and make it work. What I'm doing, you might not see that, or you might, is I'm tracking our line on Navionics, our drift line, to try and kind of get it all matched up nicely. But we'll give it a go, and hopefully make it work.
There's a fresh one.
Right, so tactics for here. Bit of mackerel fillet that Darren's just cut with a blunt knife, so it looks a bit ropey, but it will still taste the same to a bull huss. I'm going to send those down. That is on I think, same hooks we've been using kind of yesterday, the 6.0 Aberdeens, that kind of stuff. Fingers crossed we can pick up some fish here. Probably some eels, some huss, maybe a ray where we are. We are kind of probably going to be fishing onto flat kind of ground, but we'll see. Wish us luck. Lucky? Yep. Nice. More bait. Well, Darren's sorting us out more fresh bait. He's been catching all the mackerel this trip. Right, we had a really nice bite then on one of the baited mackerel rods.
It's a good sign.
It is a good sign. Yeah, it's been in something's mouth. Classic YouTube curse of messing around with the camera and I missed it. Right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stick that back down. I'll bait up another rig and then I'll swap it out in a sec. Yeah, the fish are here. Come on, a nice huss. That's what I want. Right, I'm going to sort him out, but as you can see, dogfish. Another species to the boat. 3 species on the trip, before the trip so far. So sort them out and we'll get them back.
Get better. Come on, come on.
Target species, guys. That's a lovely huss. Yes. Get in. Yes.
No, stop twisting. I didn't realise you.
Oh, lock it in. The net man nearly lost the fish, but he's in the net. Alright, there we go. One of the target species. Not a massive one, not a double figure. He's coming in about £5, but I will take that. That is one target species off the list. We'll sit here, we've got a few hours still to fish this mark, and hopefully we'll pick up some bigger ones. But yes, the trip is looking up. Thank God for that.
Yeah, boy.
See you later, mate. Another fish on, guys. Again, feels like some weight. I thought ray initially, but now it's gone a little bit. It's not a ray, kind of thing. Damn, there's another huss. I think maybe a little bit bigger. It felt bigger. He's pinged off. Oh well. That's 2 huss and 2 huss and 2 casts. Oh yeah, gutted to have lost that huss right on the surface. It wouldn't. I don't think we'd have seen it on camera if the camera was down here. But me and Darren were saying he was a little bit similar, a little bit bigger though to the huss we had before. So I would say 6 or 7 pounds.
Looks slightly longer.
Yeah, it could have been slightly longer. So the first one measured in at 5. So a bit annoying. It wasn't a double, I don't think. So if he looked like a double, I'd be gutted to have lost him.
7 or 8.
I'd say 7. I reckon it was £7. But yeah, right at the top of the boat. It was right on the surface, the side of the boat, and the hook popped out. We'll keep going. It's fishing well here though. It's been a fisher cast pretty much. Well, for me. Well, he was catching all the sea pigeons. So.
Leave my sea pigeons alone. They're catching you, huss.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can't argue that. Well, I forgot about the feathers. They've been dangling behind, and they have fish on. It's a fresh bait.
Decent one.
It's a fresh Cornish mackerel. Another fish on, guys. Literally, very next cast. And again, unless I've snagged them, there's a fair bit of weight here. I'm going to bring them up nice and slow, try and keep the pressure on. I don't want to pop the hook again. Right, well, Daryl's on the money there. Oh, he's trying to get our bait. Our bait elastic. Oh, oh! Alright, we'll sort him out in a sec. You had that one quite light, didn't you? It was just one little mackerel, a joey mackerel of that, I think. Yeah, he had his clutch really loose.
Oh well.
Well, that'll be the opening clip of the video, won't it? Teamy mackerel, racing like, right, let's give you a show of this huss properly. There you go, here it is. He missed the huss. £7 this guy measures in at, so he is bigger than the one we had before. So we are climbing. We're climbing up the numbers. Still not the double figure that we've targeted, but very, very happy with that. Awesome, absolutely fantastic. I don't think we mentioned this before. The mackerel that he's been catching is the first ever mackerel, aren't they?
They are.
You scrap well, don't they?
Yeah.
They're good fun.
I love the hook.
But yeah, good sign. Fish are on the feed. So I'm just filleting off some of that fresh mackerel that Darren has kindly caught for us, because the fresh absolutely is the best. All the big rays I've had this year, obviously the past few months we've had some big blonde rays, some big thornbacks, some big undulates to the boat, some of my local marks, and they've all been off mackerel that I've caught that day and put out. Literally like that, cut a fillet off, simple hook at the top, circle hook ideally, and yeah, they brought in the rays. I think what I love about this type of fishing is that you've literally got one rod there catching the bait, and then one rod there catching the bigger fish with the bait coming out of that rod. It's like a conveyor belt. It's always been nice. If you had too much mackerel going on, like coming up, so you got more than you need. Whereas we've kind of had one come up every half hour, and it's just been enough to keep the fresh baits going. Yeah. Super simple fishing here, guys. It's literally, as I mentioned earlier, a very simple Aberdeen style J hook with a rectangle segment of fresh mackerel. And a lot of people say it, but I'm a firm believer that fresh mackerel does make a massive difference. Whipped onto the hook. That is all it is. As I say, a rectangle of mackerel, nicely presented. I'm not flinging this out, we're not casting it from the shore. Hook's super proud on it. And that is doing the business. Right, well I was just about to lift anchor because we said we'll 7.5 or 7.6, just shy of 8, between 7.5 and £8. Oh, so I've just pulled up. We were just about to lift anchor because it's just about, well, it's gone slack tide. The drogue that we had out went underneath the boat, and this was the sign we were waiting for to move. Although Darren's now, who's not had a huss yet, is telling me I don't think he wants to move yet. But what we want to do is on this slack tide is go check the pot quickly, because we've not been able to get to it yesterday, of course, and then re-anchor all the way around on the other side of the kind of the gully, the channel, and hopefully do some more huss fishing, because it's been good fun and it's been fishing well. And we want to get Darren one. Darren's not had one yet, so I think that's what we're going to do. But let me give you a show of this huss. This is, it doesn't look it, but it's the biggest one of the day so far. As I say, just shy, between 7.5 and £8. Oh, he bit me. There we go, Mr. Huss. As I say, the scale's bouncing around in this bit of chop between 7.5 and £8. There he is. He was ready to go, wasn't he? With the weather window beginning to open, this gave us the chance to creep back to the entrance of the river to check the pot in calmer waters. This meant for now, Darren would remain hussless. Right, time to find out if this pot has any treats for us. It's been soaking for a couple of days now. Let's see, I can see it dead ahead. When hauling it, careful with the edges on the side of the boat. Yeah. They look undersized. Well, that's the result. Result, wow. Result to say that, you know, target species again with the pot. We've got some lobsters, they look both undersized, but yeah, chuffed to see them. As I say, when I put the pot up in Dorset, we get brown crab every now and then, but the marks I typically put them on, I don't tend to get much in terms of lobster. So yeah, anyway, this one's going back. So that lobster is about 80 mil from on the back of the carapace, so from the eye socket to the back of the shell there. So he is definitely undersized, but as I say, really, really pleased. What we're going to do, because we're obviously here until Monday, is reset the pot. I think we'll move a little bit further out because we can onto a different section of the reef and put it down there. But yeah, cool, chuffed. Keep your feet, get your feet off the line before you do it, and then keep your feet planted when you put the rope out. Hopefully we'll find the big brother of those little lobsters. Well, we've decided not to go for the gilts, as when we came out to put that pot, or redo the pot, check the pot and re-put it out, we've come out to the reefs and it's still a little bit swelly, a little bit choppy, but it's more than manageable. So, for the first time on the trip, we're finally out on the inshore reefs to give them a go. Got all my jigs, my metals, and the winds are also, I should add, due to drop off even further. I mean, I can't feel a breath of wind at the minute. I don't know about you, but this is now what should be, oh, that was a bite, that was a nibble. Should be the forecast now for the rest of the trip. So yeah, game on. Well, we've spent about 15-20 minutes drifting around the reef here, the inshore reef, with a few slow jigs and lures. We've done 2 or 3 drifts for 15-20 minutes and nothing happening. So what we're thinking we're going to do is we're drifting about half a knot at the moment, so it's quite a slow drift, and we've only just come off slack tide. The tide's starting to flood now. So with this flood tide starting, we're going to head into the estuary and actually crack on with the gilts that we originally planned to do. I think come back out here when the tide's picked up a little bit, and there's probably going to be a little bit more action on the reefs, and some of the pollock will probably start feeding when that tide picks up, that kind of stuff. We could probably keep on going. We'll probably bob into the old or knock into the old wrasse and everything as we continue to fish, but with time being limited, obviously we're only here today and tomorrow, we'll make the most of the conditions that we've currently got. And I think might not pay off, but we might have a better chance of getting to some of these gilt on the flood tide and the estuary mark that we want to fish. So we're going to steam over there, maybe spend an hour or two, and then come back out here when actually also the winds are due to calm down even further, so it should really nicely flatten off if it's going to behave and do as it's told. But yeah, that is the plan. So we'll see you back up in the estuary. Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We are back pretty much where we fished earlier this morning. We were on the gilts or trying for the gilts for about an hour or so, wasn't doing. And I think if we had more time, we would sit out that whole tide and wait for them to eventually, you know, find us and we could fish them. But we've only got the rest of today and of course tomorrow. I think tomorrow, as I've said many times, is the best day of the trip. So we're going to be offshore, we're going to be on the reefs making the most of that because we haven't been able to get to them all week. So we've come back in here to enjoy a bit of huss fishing again because it was good and it was fishing very well earlier, of course. Darren didn't manage to pick one up, so we're keen to get him one. And we're actually fishing, I don't know if you can see behind my shoulder there, the red buoy. That's where we were this morning. So we're on the other side of the channel, fishing down onto the bottom of a ledge to what we were before. So no reason why we shouldn't catch here. Right, first cast within, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Fish on. It's a wriggly one, this.
It's all kicking off.
Yeah. 2 hookups.
Yeah, just taking the line up.
Right, yeah, you deal with that, I'll do with mine. Let's go. Oh, nice huss. Still not the double we're after. He's a good fish. Yeah, there we go. Big old things. Darren's been struggling to hook into a bull huss all day. You've not had one to the boat yet, have you? But we've just put some fresh baits down and his rod's now going off. But hopefully, this is a chance. This is a time. Right, we're indecisive, I know, but what we've decided, you still yet, I'll get ready to hit that. If Darren gets a bull huss, wait, yeah, he's on. Right, let's get this sorted. That's a good one. This is a double figure, I'm going to be fuming.
Are you kidding me?
It's a dogfish. Right, well, what I was going to say is that Darren's not had a bull huss yet. And it's completely flattened off now. The wind, as was forecast, has completely disappeared, so it's really nice. It's flat, calm condition. And it would be nice to just nip out to the reefs for an hour or two before we head in, just have a little go. So the plan is, if he can get a bull huss, not a dogfish, then we'll steam up that way. It's about 10 to 7.
Give it to 15:15. Not had one by 15:15, we'll go to the reefs.
Okay, that's the plan. Better wait.
It's hard to tell.
Don't pull up another dogfish, please don't pull up another dogfish. It looks better than a dogfish. We were literally about to pack up, by the way, head out to the reefs. Let's see colour. It's a huss, it's a nice huss. Okay, isn't it? There he is. You've got your huss.
Last cast.
Oh, literally last cast. Lump. 8.
8?
Yeah.
Chance to get that. Yeah, boy.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry that, you man.
Nice fish, mate. Stunning fish.
Why do they always flop on me?
I don't know, dogfish do that as well, don't they? Oh, I'm okay.
Bit hussy, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit hussy. That'd be hussy too.
Let's go to the reefs.
Yeah, let's do it, mate. Awesome. Nice one.
Target achieved for me.
Yeah, awesome. Right, we've both had our huss. Let's get to the reefs. Good shout. Sport mode. We have steamed back out onto the reefs. Not too far, you can still see land there. And we're going to kill about an hour or so of the last light, doing some drifts over the reef with the jigs, the slow jigs and the lures, and see if we can't pick anything up. Of course, tomorrow is the big day to come out here and really enjoy it. But with these winds completely dropping off, as I'm sure you can see around me, it is so much calmer. It felt wrong not to come out and enjoy it for a little bit. And I've also, what we said to Darren, is that at some point in this trip, he was going to put us on a mark or choose where to fish, and we'll see if it pays up. So he's put us on this section of reef, he's put us on this specific drift line, and we'll see if he's put us on the fish. We're not drifting the right way he wants. We're on a massive section of reef, but we're drifting the wrong way.
My idea is not. Yeah.
So if I catch a fish, in the next 10 seconds, it's still wrong.
We're not going the direction I wanted, really. But
Well, now you know the drift direction now, so next time put us on a line that you like. With the light fading and bites hard to come by, we decided to head back in after a great day's fishing and prepare for the big final day. Okay, last day of the trip, day 3 officially of fishing, and we've been treated, as expected, to an absolutely glorious day. Absolute glass off. We've steamed out, we've got the jigs, we've got the lures, we caught a bit of mackerel, 1 mackerel on the way out, which we're going to use for a bit of wrecking later, hopefully. We would like to pick up some more mackerel, some pouting maybe, along the day, and then this afternoon we'll head to the wrecks. But this morning is all about pollock and wrasse. Enough talk, let's get into it. Right, move to a slightly deeper section of reef. First drop with a slow jig, small metal, straight onto a fish. We're in about, I think, 25 metres of water here. I am playing them up quite slow just because we're in pretty deep water. Right, well, it's a jumbo foul hooked mackerel, which is good for bait, but not target. It's more bait for the wrecks. Second drop of the fish. Half expecting another mackerel now, to be fair. Yeah, I think oh yes! Oh, get in. This is a target species for sure. Oh, get in. Check out that. The cuckoo wrasse. And it's a good size one as well. I believe these don't grow as big as the ballons and such. I know they don't. But yeah, that was one of the species I was really keen to try and catch down here. But just look at the colours on that. Awesome stuff, man. Get in. Bait sorted. Another one. So we are actually targeting the reef at the moment over slack tide, which is good for the wrasse. And then our plan is, with all the fresh mackerel that we've now got, to go target some pollock over the some more reefs, but also the wrecks in a bit. But I will not complain about catching these. Well, another surprise visitor, and I was trying to call him as I was coming up, but I've got a scad, or a horse mackerel, which is actually the first that I've caught this year. I haven't had any down Dorset my way yet. But yeah, another species for the trip, so pleased to see it. Nice, mate.
Yeah, boy.
Nice little ballon.
Off you go.
Right, well, we are probably 6 or 7 miles offshore now, in about 60 metres of water, and we've come to a wreck. There's one of a few wrecks here in a little circuit that I've kind of planned for us to try over the next few hours. So the tide has now kicked into effect. We should be on the ebb tide and it should be flowing fairly nicely, so we should have a reasonable drift, but not too much. And we're going to start, I think, with a few slow jigs to see if we can't pick any pollock up off the wreck, and then move to our wrecking rigs, which I'll run through in a moment. But it's essentially, I think, 250 pound mono that I've used with a big old 8.0, 10.0 meat hook and a little squid muppet on the end, and we're going to use some of that fresh mackerel, fillet it off and stick it on the hook. So that's the plan of attack. Let's try and get into some of the bigger fish.
With rigs set, hooks baited and the drift lined up, we got to fishing, and it wasn't long before the bites started to show.
First drop, and Darren seems to have something on. Something little anyway. Whiting. That's good though. It means there's fish down there. So although it's not a target, pleased to see kind of smaller bait fish, whiting, pouting, that kind of stuff around the wreck, because of course it means there's a reason for the bigger fish to be here. We've just come right on top of the wreck now, right over the bow of the wreck. Darren seems to have hooked into slightly better fish. Double hook up. It doesn't feel like there's much weight to my fish at all, but first drift, multiple hookups, so take it. Pollock, is it? Yeah, out of the way.
Oh, he's gone.
He's lost his fish. Mine's come out. Oh no, I was going to say, there it is.
It's not like my partner was helping me.
I had a fish on, mate. I lost my fish.
Decent.
Not bad at all. Well, that was a successful drift. We had obviously the whiting. I had a fish, but I'm not sure. I think it was a smaller pollock, so I'm not too worried about it. And obviously Darren's had his pollock. What I'm going to do, we're going to reset the drift in a moment. Darren's going to go down with the slow jig because it, worked for him. I'm going to rig up my big wrecking rig. This is a 30 to 50 class ugly stick with a Penn Squall 40 lever drag LD with my wrecking rig on there, and that's the little meat hook with the squid muppet, and I'm just going to put a big mackerel fillet on the end of it, and I'm going to go for a ling. Really want to catch a ling on this trip. Darren can pick up another pollock and I can pick up a ling. I'll be happy. But there's fish on this wreck, so we've established that. It's the first wreck we've tried, which is very lucky. Sometimes on wreck fishing you've got to go from one to the next until you find one that doesn't have gear on it, doesn't have nets on it, has fish on it, all that kind of stuff. So we've lucked out a little bit. That's the plan. Does lightning strike twice? Right, there we go. That is my setup. Let's see what we can do. Right, fish on that wrecking rig. I was literally, as we were approaching the wreck. And I don't think it's a massive fish, but it's a whiting. Yeah, I have made whiting nuggets before. I made them for you, didn't I? They were quite nice. So they are nice to eat, but if this guy wants to go back, I'll let him back. He was foul hooked, that's why he felt quite heavy. You can probably see there. Ooh, that's where the hook went in. But still, nice fish. Darren's on again. Another nice fish.
Well, I don't think it's as big as the last one.
Right, I'm on to another fish. Darren is just releasing another whiting. There seems to be a lot of whiting on the wreck. Because whatever I've got is not a big fish again, but it is good that there's lots of bait fish on here. No, our drift has slowed right down actually to about half a knot, and the direction of our drift has also changed, so we're kind of drifting diagonally across the wreck rather than straight over it, which is good. It means more time drifting over the structure rather than like the shore. If you imagine the ship going long ways, we were initially just going sideways across it, now we're kind of going down the wreck. Just got to find these bigger fish. They will be here. Hooked him in the tail. It might be a ling. He's got me in the wreck. I've just hooked up to a much better fish right close in on the jig. And I think it might be a ling because he's got me straight back into the wreck. And he's not coming out. Come on. Yeah, he snagged it. Damn it. It's definitely a fish on this.
Still feel it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still pulling. Oh, blow me out. Oh, I don't know, I'm going to get this out. Oh, Christ. This is a big fish. I had to pull free for that fish, unfortunately. I do think that was a ling. I just wasn't quick enough to get it out, and it just got me snagged, and I couldn't. Only this is a slow pitch jigging rod, it wasn't enough to pull it out of the wreck. But I could still feel him there, so yeah. Unfortunately, I've lost a lot. I know exactly what I'm doing next. Getting the big rod back out. That drift didn't go too well for me. Unfortunately, I got snagged again on the big rig. The back of the wreck, which is kind of where we're drifting on at the moment, seems to be quite snaggy. So it could be that there's a big bit of structure there sticking up, or even an old net, something that's tangled up in it. I don't know. That's twice I've been snagged and lost gear in the same spot. Fortunately though, the wrecking rig that I'm using, I've tied a rotten bottom onto it. So I've got the whole rig back all I've lost is the lead at the bottom. So, not too bad. I can quickly tie a new lead onto the bottom of that and I'll go again. We decided to move off that wreck. There was the bite slowed down, but also it felt like we were at the Warrior Boats fan club meeting. There's about 5 other boats, pretty much all of them Warriors as well. I don't mind fishing a wreck with maybe 1-2 boats on it, but 5 is just a bit silly. So it's getting a bit crowded, and the bites completely stopped as well. We did a whole drift all the way down the wreck with nothing. So took that as our cue to leave. We've moved a bit more west to another wreck, a smaller wreck, and then there's another wreck a bit more west from us as well. So we're going to do that little circuit, and I'm probably going to focus mostly on the slow jigs from now, but we'll see. Too many boats on that last one. First proper drop on this new wreck, double hookup for me and Darren. We've already got 2 pollock on the boat, of course, so we're not here to take tons and tons of fish. We've got a fair amount of meat to come off the 2 that we've kept, so we've looked to put a lot of these back now. So if you see those bubbles, that's him equalising. From when I've brought him up slowly, he's able to decompress, so he shouldn't be blown, and as you can see, he's still fighting at the surface there. Well, there's my fish. First pollock of the trip for me. Only a little one. Darren's got a pouting, so I won't bother showing you that. Now, he would technically be legal to take, but it is a small fish. Although you'd probably get a meal out of him. Definitely not something I'll do. And he's come up nice and slow, so no barrow trauma. He'll go back fine. On our 3rd wreck of the day, I've lost 2 or 3 different slow jigs now, which is part of the game, unfortunately. Go with this big old thing now. Oh, are you kidding me? Hit the bottom straight into the stack. Right, we're back on. Let's see if we can try and save this. I'm not fishing this wreck again. I'm not doing another drift on that. Oh, I'm glad I haven't lost that lure. I quite like that lure. Never caught anything on it, but it looks nice sat on my shelf at home. Can't get away from them. So me and Darren just chatted there, and it's got to slack tide. We've just worked a bit of reef now all along kind of the coastline here, and there's not much happening. We picked up 1 little mackerel, but not a lot. So we got some fish to sort that need filleting and sorting. We've got rods and mess and reels and stuff going all over the place that need sorting out. And we've not really, we've got phones that are dying and all sorts. So I think what we're going to do, we're at slack tide now and everything's kind of come to a bit of a stop. We're going to head back in. We've got a little bit of a steam to get back in actually, especially on this, because we're not cruising at 25-30 knots like we might do on that show. We're going to be cruising back in between 10 and 12 knots, which is nice, it's comfortable. So we'll steam back in, head back to camp, get everything sorted, have a bit of a wash down, and we're going to head back out later this afternoon, this evening, to have another go. I'm probably on the reefs when the tide's picked up a bit, and we've also got to check that pot as well at some point today. Slight change of plan. On our way in, as it's slack water and low tide, we're going to check the pot, see if we've got any treats in it today. Oh, Darren. I need new pot man and net man. Taking applications.
You have a long waiting list, mate. Waiting list than nobody's. So. Larry's in here.
Oh, what the hell? We've got bull huss in it. Thought we'd finished our huss fishing. Alright, well, yeah, good job we checked it indeed. Not a massive one, but he's a dark one, isn't he?
Nice colour, right?
There we go. A bull huss.
Barry the bully.
In the space of a week, in my pots, I've had a conger and a bull huss. And 2 lobster, but get off. Alright, he's angry. You can go back in. Right, well, what we'll do is we'll rebait this. and we'll reshoot it out there, and then we'll collect it later this evening. So it's got a few hours. Maybe it'll catch us something, but alright, that's rebaited. We'll find somewhere to reshoot it, somewhere further out. That might give us more of a chance.
We headed back to camp for a quick pit stop. Fed and refueled, we then launched for the final session of the trip.
Right, last session of the trip. Let's make it a big one. Right, join us back out at sea. We've just blasted out back onto the inshore reefs, and it is beautiful out here. This is exactly what we wanted. Perfect conditions, we've got a nice tide running through, flat calm seas, sun shining now. We've got a few hours left to fish before we're gonna have to, basically we're gonna fish till darkness. And this is our absolute last session of the trip. So it's all or nothing now. Where's that big pollock? Let's try and find him. They're waiting. Good. Cracking colours on that one.
Love that.
And a starfish. With a starfish.
Culprit number one.
And another bull huss. It's not a bad one though.
It's a decent size, you know.
Right, there you go. 6.5 pound bull huss in the pot.
Off it goes.